Hello, everybody. Welcome to the Cantrip Cast. Today's a little bit of a different video. You might have seen recently that there is like a new tag, I guess, going around on probably specifically Twitter. I've seen it on YouTube a couple times here now, and the tag is Open D&D. And some of you might be aware of what's going on, and some of you may not. If you watched the video that I did a couple weeks ago about why we pushed back our third book, then you might have an idea what this is kind of relating to. There's been more information that's kind of come out regarding, what's going on with the future of D&D and the open gaming license. And not gonna lie, it has a lot of like creators really concerned on like what's really happening. And that's kind of what we're going to talk about here for a few minutes, just to kind of get our feelings out there, because I feel like this game is so close to me. I mean, I've been playing for 20 years, and we essentially built a business around tabletop role-playing games because we love games like D&D so much. And for something like this to come up, that's a big concern. I don't know. It has a lot of us worried here in the space that make content and books. So, everybody say hello to David from Prototopics, aka today the Crystal Ball Wizard. You've probably seen him on his videos. So, how you doing, dude?
I'm doing good. I don't know if I'm doing well, but I'm doing good. Spreading the news about the crap that Hasbro is throwing at us.
Yeah, I don't know. It's upsetting. I don't know what the hell it's gonna result in. So essentially, what's going on?
I've never wanted for people to jump in my comments and say, "Hey, they made a statement. You're wrong." Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, I want people to send me links and be like, "Hey, this is wrong."
Yeah,
and I don't know how often people say that.
Yeah, I want to be wrong about the way that this is being presented. I do. So essentially, what's going on is there was an interview that came out recently. This is probably one of the most recent things. Is
back in
November. There was a few people from, I forget exactly who they were. Who were? Do you remember who they were that said that D&D needs to be more monetized?
The CEO. Yeah, Cynthia Williams, the CEO. I'm going to pull it up here just so we could make reference.
Yeah. Essentially said that D&D is either under monetized or needs to be more monetized, and stating that most of their consumers that buy products are their DMs, which makes sense. That makes sense that DMs are the biggest consumers that buy products. I get that, because we're running the games, we buy the most materials. A lot of the books are made for DMs. So that's understandable. But the way the interview was worded, from the bits that I read, it's very concerning. Of like, what do you mean it's under monetized? Like, how are you going to monetize this game more? Like, are you going to start microtransactioning people with,
Yes.
your virtual tabletop? Are you going to try to come up with like the equivalent of like a battle pass type system, like every freaking video game? And, just, I don't know, like, yeah, video game, like every video game has been doing for the past like couple years, because that's like the meta now for, monetizing your products, is battle passes and microtransactions. Like, how are you going to do that with D&D? I mean, obviously, a lot of stuff's going to be virtual now, but I don't know. To me, it's just not a lot of people are really asking for that, I guess.
Well, they've made clear that they're aware that their Dungeon Master player base only represents 20% of active D&D players. So that's a statistic they provided in an investors meeting. It's actually out there. Only 20% are DMs. And of that, they said DMs spend the most money. And so because DMs spend the most money and they have a reliable cash flow from Dungeon Masters, they want to create what they're calling recurrent spending habits.
Okay.
Which means that your credit card is going to keep paying for stuff over and over and over and over more often than you are right now, because the brand is, as they claim, under monetized. So even though we're buying books every 3 to 4 months for $50 a pop, that's not enough. They want more money out of us on a more frequent basis.
Yeah, that kind of blows. It sucks to hear.
Huge. Everybody should be talking about this.
Yeah, it's really upsetting, honestly. And I think that's why a lot of like creators specifically are speaking out and probably more aware about this, is because like, we're always deep diving and looking into the stuff like, what's next? What's the next thing to do? What should I do a video on? Like, what should I make content based around? And now this has been like the big thing of like, and it's very important. Like, people should know, like, hey, the game we all know and love is, they're possibly moving to a model like this. Like, I don't know if that's the right way to go about this. Not a lot of people want that to happen. I can't think of anybody I've talked to that's just like, yeah, I think this is a good idea. Every single person that I've talked to about this is just like, I'm not going to do that. Like, I'm not going to pay a monthly fee to play D&D. I mean, people already do with D&D Beyond, but like, because in D&D Beyond's like a big resource, but I can't see people, doing a battle pass type situation for D&D. I don't know.
Well, it's not only is it a battle pass, it's their play boxes, as they've said, or play
Mhm.
sets specifically, as they've called them, which means that, for instance, let's say they release Curse of Strahd, 3D minis, 3D map packs, 3D color skins, textures, monsters. So that's all going to be released in a play set. This is
Yeah.
this is from the world reveal trailer that they described this.
Mhm.
You're going to be able to buy the play set, which I'm estimating is anywhere going to be anywhere from $50 to $100 for all the digital assets, and then you'll have the ability to buy individual pieces from that playset, just like every other game right now.
To continue to expand upon the virtual tabletop system that they're putting out.
Correct.
That's but like then what happens to the rest of the VTTs? Like Roll20 and
Well, they're
Foundry and all
done.
them that people love to use. Like that sucks. So many people have based campaigns and streams and everything based around like Roll20 and Foundry and other virtual tabletops. What about all the people that make maps for D&D that are like 2D maps that people use in their home games? I don't know. I know
Well,
people are still going to support those creators and the stuff that they do and the maps they make and everything. But if they're trying to like streamline everything into this virtual, tabletop world that's exclusive to just D&D, and you can only use their assets and you can't bring in like third party assets like you can on other virtual tabletops, then that's not very user friendly. Like the reason people use Roll20 and like Foundry and other virtual tabletops is because you can bring in your own assets and put them in your games. You can make your own things. You can buy your own things. You can support creators you like to make
and there's
maps
free
and
options.
tokens. And there's free options too.
Yeah.
So don't limit it to just only D&D exclusive options. That's sick. The biggest thing about D&D that people love about it so much is the ability to do what you want with it and just like throw anything you want into the game and make it a blast and make it fun. I think that's where the tag open D&D is coming. Don't close it off, keep it
Well,
open. Allow third-party publishers and creators to continue to supply the game and keep the game living and thriving like they always have been.
and it goes one step further than that, though, because I mean, we've only talked. There's two halves to this story. I take that back. There's three. There's three pieces to this story
There's
that's
three
still
halves to this whole
unfolding right
story.
now. There's three halves.
There's three
Thank you.
halves.
This is why I wear this outfit, so that when I make mathematical errors like that, it's not really David, it's the crystal ball wizard.
It's the crystal ball wizard.
This is
Yeah.
my shield from making mistakes. So when we look at this, the first part is the microtransactions and how we know and how they've described it's going to be predatory. It's going to be a predatory environment for microtransactions. We know this. It's coming. On top of that, open D&D is rooted in the case of the removal of the open gaming license, or not even removal, never creating an open gaming license
For the new
for
edition.
one D&D.
Yeah.
That's why it's open D&D, because it should be open for everybody to make content.
Yeah, and if you don't know what the open gaming license is that is quite literally what it is in the name. It's an open gaming license, which allows third-party publishers like us, Coldwood Press, Hit Point Press, Ghostfire Gaming, etc., to make the books we've been making for the past couple years as third-party publishers that's compatible with the 5th edition of D&D. And they've had an OGL for I think like the 3rd edition and 3.5 and like other editions in the past. I don't believe there was one for 4th edition, and that
There wasn't.
there wasn't, and that created more competition for themselves with Pathfinder because people started switching to that game because they did have it open sourcing. If you take away the open sourcing of this game that is so popular, that literally a lot of personalities push out this game and do a lot of free marketing. If we're honest here, for D&D, like a lot of content creators, what are we really doing? We're doing free marketing and advertisement for Dungeons and Dragons, essentially. But then you want to close all that off and stop people from making their own content, like books or PDFs or anything that is like consumable or usable without the the availability of an OGL. Why are you trying to take away people's creativity or their ability to publish material themselves? As I don't know, beyond me. And an interview came out last month where they tried to clarify the rumor that I made a video on previously about the OGL, saying that like, oh, there's not going to be an OGL. And the response we got was something along the lines, and I don't know the exact quote, but it was like, we're too early in the development of 1D&D to say to comment or to speculate on the OGL. And I'm like,
That's
but
PR speak for we're not doing one.
it's just like, but why? Like, why? What do you mean? Like, you're saying you support third-party creators and the stuff that they make. I don't know. To me, it just very much seems like, hey, no, there's not going to be an OGL for 1D&D because the 5e OGL is going to be close enough. There's no need to do it. I would have accepted that answer because, all right, cool. Now we know it's going to be close enough. You
And we
know?
would also know that 5e is going to be more compatible than the UA makes it seem.
Yeah.
You know, one of the big selling points, and this is pretty much a tangent, but one of the selling points of 1D&D is that, oh, it's compatible with 5e. And
Yeah.
all your 5e stuff carries over. All your books, it all carries over. As we review the Unearthed Arcana they've put out, that's not going to be exactly the case. It is not going to be a clean-cut carryover. It's not going to be so streamlined as we think it is.
Yeah.
The
I want it
stories
to
and
be.
modules will carry over, sure. Yeah,
Yeah.
run this story with the new rules, but it's a new rule set. Let's be clear about that. It's not the same.
Yeah. I mean, I want to believe that it's going to be the same
Oh,
rule set.
I do
Or
too.
I want to. I very much genuinely want it to be what they're saying it is. It's compatible. It's going to be open for everybody. You can continue to do X, Y, Z, all the stuff, do everything you love. We're just dropping the addition off of the name. Like everything that you love about D&D that we've been doing for years is still going to be implemented into this new system. We're just changing
Right.
things around. I want to believe that, but there's so much just like vague responses that it's very, very concerning. I love this game. Been playing for 20 years. I'm going to keep on making videos about it. I'm going to keep on doing skits because I genuinely love tabletop role-playing games such as Dungeons and Dragons. I mean, it's shit. I mean, look at my arms, you know?
Yeah,
Like,
you literally have D&D tattooed all over you.
yeah, I do because I've been playing this game since I was like 9. Since I was like 9. Uh and I love it. And I want to continue to love I'm going to continue to love the concept of D&D and continue to play D&D, whether it is like, you know, if I got to stick with 5th edition, then very well, I will. But I mean, like, I don't know, this whole like transition to this new 1D&D thing has a lot of people concerned. And I don't know if I'm going to be necessarily on board with it, depending on what comes out. Especially last night, maybe like 2 nights ago, David, you and I both saw like on Twitter and stuff with some other creators that apparently, and this is again speculation because I didn't see any like actual like tangible evidence of it, just a lot of people like talking about it. I think Nerd Immersion actually did a whole video on it,
Yeah,
talking
38
about
minute video breaking it down
yeah,
in a
like
very
Wizards of the
good way.
Coast, Wizards of the Coast sending out, you know, like letters to creators to talk about this new edition of D&D and get feedback, whatever happens to be, just
That's
like,
the
hey,
third half, actually.
we want to talk about 1D&D with you and et cetera, et cetera. And but hey, to do this, you have to sign an NDA.
Right.
Which makes sense. You have to sign an NDA to talk about a new product. I've had to sign NDAs about stuff. That makes sense. However, it just seems like I don't know. It seems odd that a lot of people, like a lot of like big creators, are kind of talking out about this of like, yo, what the hell is going on here? And then all of a sudden, people start getting letters saying they want to talk about it, but to talk about it, they need to be NDA'd. I can't see a lot of people wanting to do that or signing an NDA because if they sign the NDA and find out what's actually going on, they can't talk about it. And
That's right.
I don't know. It's a lot.
It's a legal trap that they're legally allowed to set, and it's just a matter of if you spring the trap. Okay.
Yeah.
I'm hoping that that's not true. Okay. As of right now, I don't think I don't want to speak for Brandon. I have not seen said email, though I have read it. I have read a transcript of it, but I haven't seen the actual email. We are under the current story that the person who's sharing this email has possibly signed the NDA, and therefore they are not supposed to leak any of this information. So it's a very delicate situation. That being said, I hope this email's fake. I hope we find out, oh, hey, that whole thing was fake news.
I hope
because they
all
wouldn't
this
do
is
something
bullshit.
like that.
I hope all of this is just bullshit and we're all overthinking
Right.
or that like, you know, maybe it's all being blown up of proportion. And like, no, like, hey, I hope in a year when 1D&D comes out, we can look back at each other and be like, oh, wow, yeah, we were being fucking stupid. None of that happened. But it's hard
No. They have to come out and they're letting this turn into a situation by not addressing it professionally. That article where they said the OGL might be removed was in November. That was more than a month ago, which means they've been radio silent about this for more than a month. And now leaks are coming out about the sneaky things that they're pulling with these alleged emails, luring people into NDAs. Okay. That's not a company and also this is Wizards of the Coast. We don't exactly have the greatest integrity with them anyway. Let's just be clear.
I don't know what's going on. There's a lot. I don't know. I'm very upset about it. I am. Like, it hurts honestly to a bit of my core because I really, really want to continue to play editions of D&D moving forward and continue to make content in books based around, what's going on and what people like. But myself and many of the third party publishers, if you're a third party publisher and you're listening and you're watching, I feel you. I understand what you're going through right now, because this sucks. Like this, because it breaks down to, like, what do we do? We're in this weird point of, like, do we prepare for a new edition or do we not? Do we stick with
Right.
5e, or do we prepare ourselves to do the next edition? What do we do? And the answer is, we're too early in the development
We
to know.
hold. That means we hold. And I think what you're about to see is, especially as these things develop, and I bet they're going to make a statement eventually. They're going to have to, because I think this is going to continue to grow. This is a very, very big deal, because there's
Yeah.
some major things going on here that more people need to know about, and more people need to be talking about. When the community itself, which has done more for less, like, think about it. When the community gets loud, they get loud. And this
Yeah.
is something where there's actual, like, corporate level nonsense going on. When the community gets loud, they'll eventually make a response. And hopefully they're either going to come out and say, hey, no, we're not doing that. We are doing an OGL. Everything is going to be fine. And then everybody can say, oh, thank God. Okay,
Sweet.
good.
Awesome. Awesome.
Good.
Great.
We're back.
Cool. And we
We're
can
back.
move on with our day.
D&D's back.
D&D is open again. Like, or it remains open,
And if not, then you're going to see a lot of what they're calling splintering.
Yep.
You're going to have new games popping up all over the place. You're going to have new tabletop games popping up all over the place, because you're going to turn your loyal fans into your greatest competition.
Yep. I would, I know that you've got some stuff in the works, but I'll come out and say, like, hey, I wouldn't be opposed to starting my own system. Wink into the camera.
Okay,
You know?
and you and every other YouTuber and every other content creator and every other person that has a shred of imagination that can say to themselves, I can do this better than you. Everybody's going to say that to Hasbro. I can do. That's what Pathfinder was built on.
Yeah.
Now Pathfinder's their biggest competition.
Yeah. It's
So-
I don't know, mixed emotions. Everything kind of sucks right now. Again, love the game. Love Dungeons and I love the game Dungeons and Dragons. I do. I don't love what's going on right now with the possible future
Yes.
of the game. I'm going to keep playing. We've got I've got videos and skits and shows and everything else I've been doing, because I love playing this game with my friends. I do. I'm just a little concerned about the future on the business end of things, I guess. What's gonna happen to the future of D&D? Are they going to completely change the model? Are they going to stop people from putting out content? I don't know. We don't know what's going to happen, and it's concerning.
And
Obviously, we can still make YouTube content, and talk about the game, because for fair use is obviously a thing. I'm not saying YouTube content is going to come down. That won't happen. I'm saying, like, the tangible, like, books and stuff we put out. Like, I don't want that to end.
And I just want to drive home the point, because a lot of people that are watching this are going to say, well, how does this affect me? Because it sounds like it just affects the two of you, right?
Yeah.
This affects you at home, because it'll be harder for you to find things on Reddit. It'll be harder for you to find things that are homebrewed. It'll be harder for you to find things on Instagram, like all those inspirational cards and new items and spells and abilities. Those go away if the OGL goes away. So literally, the game itself will shrink, and all the content will only be available through D&D Beyond or through whatever published means they decide to go with.
Yeah, because technically
that's why this is a big deal.
Because technically, the 5e OGL and the previous OGLs, they can't just go away. Those OGLs are going to be there,
Right.
So people
5e
can still
sticks
make
around.
Yeah, 5e sticks around. All the other editions that have OGLs, they stick around because you can make content for those, because they have open gaming license that allows people to use the system and the rule set to make a piece of material for it. But if somebody were to, go on to, if there's no OGL for 1D&D and somebody goes on and makes a new piece of content that is specific to 1D&D, that is a completely homebrew, and they put it online, technically they're not allowed to do that if there's no OGL.
Right. That's right.
So then what happens then? What happens if people start posting, like, all this homebrew stuff for 1D&D?
The community shrinks, and people become less interested.
People start playing other games, and people start doing different things and doing, playing systems that are more open, where you can, I don't know. I'm ready to bash my head against the wall and cry, because this is just like, it's a lot. I'm just like, I just want to play the game. Why can't this be easy? Hasbro, WotC, if you're listening, please just listen to the creators and the publishers and everybody else that's like speaking out
Listen
about
to
this,
the people.
because yeah,
It's everybody.
seriously,
It's the people.
like, you listen to exactly, like, you've got, you want to say your biggest consumers, your biggest buyers are the DMs, which is true. That makes sense. I understand that. Your DMs are your biggest consumers because we buy the most stuff to run the games. I get that. Then listen to us. Listen to what, we think is best. DMs love making their own stuff.
Right.
Third-party publishers love making new content for people to put out. There are companies that are quite literally based around publishing third-party materials for these games. And I know we're small fish when it comes to the publishing side of things. We put out 2 books, they both did pretty good, but they're not like, we're not like Cobalt Press size or anything, I can't imagine how the people at Cobalt Press and those bigger companies feel like right now. If I'm feeling this
Probably
amount
not
of like
good.
anxiety and like weird like panic like in between of like, whoa, fuck, I had to stop I had to push back our 3rd book. We're not doing the third book yet till we figure out what's going on. Oh crap, I can't imagine what like Cobalt Press and these bigger companies that have like more than just one book in the works. They've got like, they've got such a bigger timeline than we do to put out all these products. I can't imagine how they feel and what kind of like emotions they're going through right now. It sucks.
This is an important time in the D&D history. And I think
Yeah.
we all gotta, this is the kind of thing that brings people together. And I think this is a good thing to unify around. This isn't polarizing like a lot of other topics have been about rules and this and that. No. This is actually us coming together as the D&D community to say, hey, we love you so much. Don't make this mistake.
Yeah. We love the
Don't
game.
do it.
We have some of us have based our entire personalities and livelihood around
I'm wearing a wizard
this
outfit right
game.
now.
Fuck, I have an entire series called Dungeon Master Therapy. That's like the biggest series I've ever done because I love this game.
Like
To listen to the people that love the game. Keep it open. Open D&D. Keep it open.
I think that's you got to get loud, folks. If this affects you, and if you're a D&D fan, it does affect you. It's time to get loud. Stay kind, but you got to get loud.
Yeah,
Take
do
Twitter,
some research.
use
Do some
the
research
hashtag.
and looking to see what's going on.
do your homework.
Dive for yourself a little bit if you want to find out more information about everything. Like the information's out there. Do a quick Google search and everything that's going on because it's
Follow the money. Like there's articles out there describing all of this in like where they're coming from. Look at that investors meeting. There's a dicebreaker.com article out there where they talked about this. Where they literally said recurrent revenue streams. Well, how do you do recurrent revenue streams? Microtransactions on your digital platform that you've had for a long time and held for one D&D specifically to build out this system.
Yep.
Maybe that's some scary stuff.
Yeah, a little bit.
Which is concerning because I wouldn't mind balling out and making these big extravagant maps for stream, as I know you probably wouldn't either. You would probably love it.
Yeah.
Think about it. Adding a visual element to all of our streams. Be
Oh
amazing.
my god, it'd be fantastic. Yeah.
But
If it's
not
done
if it's
right.
going to cost you a mortgage.
Yeah. Yeah. Oh god. So, well, all right, everybody, make sure you do some research, look into it. Seriously, there's articles everywhere. There's information everywhere. More and more is coming out through different creators. More leaks and everything each day. And like David said, be vocal about this. Tell D&D and tell Wizards like what you want to actually see in the new edition of D&D. I know like the Unearthed Arcana has like the the playtest material and the surveys and stuff, for those. But this isn't necessarily about like the playtesting. If they're making a whole new edition, that's literally, if they want to make a new edition, fine.
Yeah.
Make a new edition. Go ahead. Just tell us what is happening. Like that's all I want to know.
Yeah, they need to do company transparency, and they got to do it now.
Yeah.
Waiting around is just going to lead to more rumors and more things. See, as I said, I'll say it again because there's going to be comments where people are like, "Oh, well, don't play anymore," or "Oh, just these are rumors. There's nothing confirmed." Right. So come out and confirm that they're rumors and tell the truth.
And that's my biggest thing. It's just like, especially again, kind of circles back around to the start of the OGL. Of first it was a rumor and then there was a news, and that's what really made it more sketchy. Was first it was a rumor, hey, there's no OGL, and then they were confronted about it, and there was an article written and where they said like we're too early in the development to tell, and I'm like, wait a minute,
it's a yes or no question.
That's why does that seem kind of sketchy?
Yeah, they gave a sketchy answer.
Yeah,
they gave a PR sketchy answer to try and brush it under the rug, and now there's people. I mean, go on TikTok. Here on YouTube, go on Instagram. If you talk about this, there will be a handful of people that say, "Oh, they confirm that they are doing an OGL." That's not what they said. I read the same article as you. You interpret it differently because it's written to be interpreted in that way. They're trying to mislead people.
Yeah, it says that they're going to support third-party publishers and like creators and stuff, which they probably will if it's on DM's Guild where
Or
wizards
D&D
can
Beyond,
use
where
your
they own it.
stuff. Yeah, where they own it. But like, what about third-party publishers that do what we do, or like some of your favorite publishers that you may love and know? I mean, shoot, some of your biggest YouTubers have put out third-party books. XP Level
Right.
3, RuneSmith, Kobold Press, Hit Point Press, Ghostfire Gaming, the Dungeon Dudes, like all of them. They've all put out third-party books. They have. And I know we want to keep doing stuff like that because it's fun. We love supplying content and things like this for people that love this game. And for that to happen, people need to let, WotC and D&D and Hasbro know, like, hey, we love you, but you gotta keep it about the people and what we want.
And just you at home watching, when you are going and buying your minis on the one D&D virtual tabletop, are you ready to pay the extra $1.99 to get Strahd with bloody vampire fangs?
Yeah, you want blue, Strahd?
You want blue? You want him with
You
his
want
royal
blue?
blue garb, because that'll be another $1.99. Okay. If you want Strahd's throne, well, that's an exclusive special that's only available for the next 24 hours, and that's $5.99. But we'll throw in Strahd's cat for an extra $19.99 right now if you buy it now, because that's what's coming, folks. That's what's coming, unless you get loud.
I hope that's not. I hope it isn't. I want to believe it's not. But I mean, I look at the model of literally everything right now, every video game that's out, and like,
They
you
are
saying
being
that
compared to
if you would've-
Fortnite and
yeah.
Warzone.
If you would have told me like what you just said, like now 10 years ago, I'm like, yeah, fuck you. Like, what? That's stupid. Who would do that to a video game or to any kind of game? And now I look down, I'm like, oh, literally every video game has some sort of system like that implemented. And I'm like, huh.
Yeah.
Even Sea of Thieves right now. I've been playing a shit ton of Sea of Thieves, and I'm just like, caught myself buying the Blunder Pass so I can get the cool pirate stuff. Like, oh, there's the Pirate Emporium. Oh, sweet, I like this ship, but I'm like, I'm not paying $30 for that skin. But it's just like, the more I think about it, I'm like, huh. Yeah, no, yeah. If they can, if a way can be found to do that with whatever they can, because they work, which is unfortunate, but I don't want it to work for D&D.
Who would have thought there's even the idea that loot boxes could be hitting D&D?
Please, God, no.
It's just an idea right now. It's up to you folks. You got to get loud. You got to talk about it. Make them come out and say, we're not doing that, and then we hold them to it. But until that happens, Schrodinger's cat.
Yeah. I have a cat. He's a dick. All right, everybody, make sure you like the video, make sure you subscribe, and make sure you just check into, I don't know, do some research, look into some things.
Yeah. Seriously, drop a like and a comment on this video, though, because more people need to see this.
Yeah, seriously. If there's a video that you should like and comment, definitely do it for this one, because it's very important that we get this message out there. It's very important, especially for creators and for consumers as well, too. Like, I don't know. Well, with that being said, I'm going to go feed my cat. All right, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Bye-bye.